Welcome everybody to the LifeCanada Gala. This is our first ever virtual gala and we're so excited to have you all with us tonight. There's so much work has gone into this production, so we're just really thrilled to be able to share this program with you tonight. I'm going to introduce my sister-in-law, and we will tell you a little bit about that backstory in a moment. But welcome, Sarah Hudson. Sarah and I have worked alongside each other in the pro-life movement. Sarah was the executive director of the National Campus Life Network, and she's married to my brother, and they have 5 beautiful children. Welcome, Sarah.
Thanks, Natalie. It's great to be here today. I'm so excited to co-host this event with you, and I'm a big supporter in LifeCanada.
The thing I want to discuss with you is a little bit about LifeCanada, and we are a national nonprofit, an association of local and provincial educational pro-life groups that promote the value of human life to serve our members and advocate for the most vulnerable members of our society. Our mission, of course, is as a national association, is to promote the value of human life to serve our members. And LifeCanada brings to the message of life to Canadians through the use of our innovative multimedia campaigns, our national polling, our educational resources, and through our training and national network of member groups. We also educate you, our followers and supporters, on all that matters today in the pro-life cause. This is so important, to keep you updated on the issues, to synthesize all of the material and to offer it to you in a snapshot, and the relevant links and action items that you need in order to help us in this fight for life. And we support those who are in crisis, offering them help, resources, and places to go. So that's a little bit about LifeCanada in a snapshot. Sarah, tell us about our goals this evening.
Of course. So tonight is a fundraising event, and as you can see, we're well on our way to our goal. We have raised $14,000 in gifts prior to this event. So we want to reach that $25,000 goal. And that is our goal this evening. So we hope you support us in that endeavor. And so here's how you can donate to LifeCanada. You go to www.lifecanadagala.ca. Okay, and tonight we have the opportunity for gift matching. That means that generous donors who have been sponsors for this event have generously offered to match every dollar we bring in tonight. So your $50 will become $100, and your $150 will become $300. So in addition, we have a book that is, or Paul Broughton from Life Cycle Books has offered anyone who gives $100 or more a free copy of Stephanie Gray Connor's book, Love Unleashes Life. So now's your opportunity to really make a difference in LifeCanada. LifeCanada is quickly becoming one of the foremost educational groups in the nation. Tonight and tonight only, you have an opportunity to double your donation to LifeCanada. I want to introduce this next section, a brief video from 2 of our sponsors that highlights the great work LifeCanada is doing.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Catherine, and I'm the owner and executive director of Windsor Against Abortion. Windsor Against Abortion adopted the End the Killing strategy from the Canadian Centre for Bioethical Reform to bring the truth and awareness of the injustice of abortion to our hometown of Windsor, Essex County. I've also sat on the board of directors for LifeCanada for 2 years, and I've just entered my 3rd year, in hopes to bring a perspective of a young adult to their projects. One of the projects that is a beneficial resource to Windsor Against Abortion is the Culture Call. The Culture Call is a web series offered to youth and young adults. It gives them an opportunity to hear from a variety of speakers on many different topics, including Case for Life, pro-life apologetics, and abortion and what effect it has on the woman. The Culture Call is an amazing resource that I can recommend to my volunteers to not only have them meet people from all over Canada, but to further their education on the pro-life movement, as well as improve our own boots on the ground, life-saving work here in Windsor, Essex County, Ontario. Thank you, Life Canada, for this amazing resource.
Hi, I'm Cam McDonald from Life's Vision Manitoba, Manitoba's educational resource centre on pro-life issues. My personal story is this. I was born at 29 weeks. I have cerebral palsy, which prevents me from doing things like walking, writing, and driving. But I have found a home in the pro-life movement with Life's Vision Manitoba, and Life Canada has been a definite help to us. When I first joined the pro-life movement over 4.5 years ago, one of the first speakers at our annual banquet was none other than Executive Director of Life Canada, Natalie Sonnen. I started with Life's Vision as a student, and now as a co-director, we have relied on Life Canada for many things. Another thing that we have collaborated on with Life Canada is the Dying Heal program, which trains people to minister to ill, disabled, and dying, just showing them that your presence is the best presence. I am a happy board member of Life Canada, and I wish them all the best. Please support your pro-life organizations nationwide and support Life Canada as the national pro-life organization.
So tonight we're going to have the option of matching gifts. Many of you registered early for the gala, and you would have received one of these little coasters. And I just wanted to point out that there's little seeds on the coasters, and the seeds actually, if you plant the coaster in the springtime, you'll grow wildflowers in your garden. So I think everybody got 2 little coasters. I'm going to pass one over to Sarah. Here you go, Sarah. Take a look at this.
Okay. Nice. I wondered what those flecks were for. My kids are going to love planting these. Natalie and I first met in 2006 when I moved to Toronto. Natalie had been working as the executive director of Toronto Right to Life, and I was the executive director of National Campus Life Network. We worked in the same office together, and I thought it was a real blessing to have Natalie, to be close to Natalie, to have her show me the ropes for education and teaching pro-life and strategy. So it was really nice to have Natalie there with me.
Oh, thanks, Sarah. And then, of course, my brother came to town, and I brought him to my office when I knew that Sarah was there. And so they actually, the next time their paths crossed was in Vancouver at our 2006 national conference, our National Pro-Life Conference. And they were married that summer. And like I said, they have 5 beautiful children that Sarah very diligently homeschools. So certainly Life Canada has played a part in both of our lives.
Thank you, Natalie. I'm going to introduce now a remarkable family of 6 children. This family, their dad is one of the founding members of Leahy, a famous Celtic band from Toronto or from Ontario, and he married a talented lady, and now they have an impressive Celtic band called Rhythmfoot. So take a look at these incredibly talented kids who put this segment together just for us tonight.
Hello everybody. We want to thank you very much for watching the first ever Life Canada virtual gala. We hope you give generously to Life Canada, as this is a wonderful cause. We are Rhythmfoot, and we're part of the greater Leahy family. And again, we want to thank you, and a special thanks to Natalie for having us.
Wow, we're back. What a talented family. I'm just going to look at the thermometer there. So we're moving up slowly, but surely. As you know, we did start this evening ahead, which was really wonderful. A lot of people have very generously donated to help us move forward. And we're very grateful. Thank you so much. Sarah's going to talk about our sponsors. So go ahead, Sarah.
Okay, we have donors and sponsors this evening. We need to acknowledge, and we're very grateful for their support. Firstly, a huge thank to our major donors, or major sponsors, Mac and Renata Novakowski, Steve and Bonnie Evans, Murray and Patty Nielsen, Garth and Don Drummond. And we also have sponsors tonight, Sunstone Realty Advisors, GM&F Partners, and several of Life Canada's member groups, and each had a little message for you tonight. The pro-life guys, Pieter Baus and Cam Cote, are giving people the tools they need to change minds and save lives from abortion. You can find the Pro-Life Guys podcast on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or any of your favorite podcast catchers. The St. Francis Life Team wanted to remind us that Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. PEI Life is one of our major member organizations advancing pro-life values in Prince Edward Island. Shuswap Pro-Life Society is one of our active organizations in a small town, Salmon Arm, British Columbia. They organize traditional life chain, movies at local theaters, fundraisers in support of pro-life groups on college campuses. Then we have Kelowna Right to Life. They like to shake things up with provocative billboards. Vancouver Life Community has 3 innovative and interactive education programs for young people. And Lethbridge Right to Life was a sponsor in the Missing Project campaign, and they helped work with Life Canada on that campaign. Back to you, Natalie.
Thanks. So now it's my opportunity to tell you a little bit about the work of Life Canada and what your funding is going to do to help us tonight. This picture is taken last year in 2019 at our national conference. And these are wonderful, wonderful conferences that we hold. The 4 people standing there at the front was myself, of course, Cam Cote from the Center for Bioethical Reform, Alyssa Golub from Right Now, and Mike Schutten from We Need a Law. We brought these 4 national organizations together and pulled off a fantastic conference that was really probably one of the most inspirational conferences that we've ever held. So, of course, that was all before COVID hit. And then we had to get creative. And we started a webinar series called Life Canada Presents. And through this webinar series, we have been able to reach at least 5,000 people that we know of. This has been an incredible journey for us. We've had wonderful speakers like John Carpe from the Justice Institute for Constitutional Freedoms. We've had Father Sheenan Bouquet from Human Life International. We've had Margaret Cottle, who's a very well-known and very respected palliative care specialist, and Debbie Vintage, who is the foremost authority on fetal cells, aborted fetal cells in vaccines and medical products. So all of these webinars are very educational, and you can still get them on the Life Canada website at lifecanada.org. So if you go there, all of those webinars are still available to you. Like I said, we've been educating at least 5,000 or more people with this information. And then to reach our youth, we have started the Culture Call. And this is allowing young people to be exposed to the most active and well-known, let's say, and very articulate leaders, pro-life leaders across Canada. So it's extremely important for us to reach our youth, to educate them, to form them. They are the future of this movement. And so this is a top priority for Life Canada, to be able to reach these young people and then to send them back into their communities so that they can then help us in the communities with our member groups. So it really has a great long-sightedness. We're thinking ahead and really wanting to benefit our member organizations by educating youth. So now Sarah's going to talk about some of our giveaways, and I'll come back and talk about a few more of our programs at Life Canada.
Okay, so we have some giveaways this evening for you. Thanks to the kind support and generosity of GM&F Partners, or GF&M Partners, one of our sponsors. We have 2 giveaway tickets tonight to fly anywhere in Canada. They have a value of $250 each. And we also have 2 books to give away this evening too. Marjore Dannenfelser's book, Life is Winning, which we will tell you about in a little bit, and Life Canada's own co-founder and former president, Peter Ryan's book entitled The God of Life Lives. This touching story chronicles Peter's journey into the pro-life movement and his decades of work in and with the leaders of our times. So enter to win one of these wonderful gifts by commenting in the YouTube live chat section, which is to the right of your screen. To the right of your video window. You can leave comments or questions, whatever you enter, as long as it's nice, you'll enter to win in tonight's draws. And our first giveaway is coming up right after this brief message from some of Life Canada's member organizations.
Thanks everyone for being here. My name is Michelle Kaluwag and I'm the Executive Director of Toronto Right to Life. We are an educational pro-life organization focused on reaching and transforming the largest city in the country by presenting evidence of what abortion does to preborn children and by using science and human rights through presentations, outreach, webinar, conferences, and other training events. We have been seeing countless hearts and minds changed. We are pleased to partner with Life Canada to share our experiences with pro-lifers across the country. Just last month, we ran a culture call session on how to share the truth and love with people who've been wounded by abortion. We had participants from different age groups and different provinces who came together to learn how to be a better pro-life advocate, and more importantly, to learn how to share a message of healing and hope to our wounded culture. We're also glad to be able to participate in Life Canada's quarterly member groups call. Through these meetings, we're able to network with other pro-life groups across the country, and we're also able to exchange ideas and learn from each other so that we can be a better ambassador for preborn children. Thank you, Life Canada, for all your hard work and for putting all these opportunities together so that we and other pro-lifers can stay connected and stay united. And thank you to everyone who's been supporting the organization through financial partnership and through prayers. You are essential in the work we do, and so thank you.
Hey everyone, it's Mike Shooten here. I'm the Director of Advocacy for ARPA Canada, as well as the Director for We Need a Law, and that's our pro-life campaign, the pro-life campaign of ARPA Canada. We have a long-standing relationship with Life Canada, and we very much value that relationship. Life Canada, as an educational organization, has a broad network of support right across our country through their member groups, and we often work together, especially when there's initiatives before the House of Commons that address life issues, whether they be the preborn child or those who are vulnerable regarding euthanasia and MAID. I want to talk specifically about a conference that we partnered with Life Canada on organizing in 2019. The conference was held in Calgary, Alberta, and it was a very successful event under the leadership and direction of Life Canada. We were pleased to come alongside them with 2 other partner organizations in welcoming upwards of 150 people to Calgary, Alberta for a great event where we could network together and listen to a variety of speakers. We very much, as I said at the beginning, value the work that they do. The educational work dovetails very nicely with the political engagement that we promote through our work, whether it be with ARPA-Canada or with We Need a Law. So if you can, I would encourage you to do what you could to support the work of Life Canada moving forward from this gala this evening. Thank you and have a blessed night.
It is my honor and privilege to bring you greetings tonight from Prince Edward Island. My name is Pat Wiedemer and I am the Executive Director for PEI Life, and I also sit on the board of Life Canada. Behind me you will see a lighthouse, an iconic symbol in Atlantic Canada. Lighthouses provide the beacon of hope so that ships coming in and out will find safe harbors. Life Canada is very much like a lighthouse. It provides that beacon of direction, guidance, education for us all in each of our provinces to know how to react, how best to support, and how to be that pro-life voice in Canada. I encourage you to support Life Canada in its national endeavour to unify all provincial groups and local groups. Support your local, but also know that we are one unified voice because of Life Canada, being that hope, being that voice for all those who need our love. Every life matters. And this is Pat from PEI.
Thanks, everybody. It's very touching to hear those wonderful comments from our colleagues all across the country. We're so grateful to be working with just such tremendous people. It's really wonderful. I think we're going to do a giveaway, Sarah. So I think we're going to,
Yeah,
I think, do we have a winner? Do we have anybody commenting yet on the YouTube site?
but the winner is Jane Elzigna. Sorry if I don't know how to pronounce your name. But congratulations on receiving your WestJet Fly Anywhere in Canada gift card valued at $250. And in order for us to get you your prize, you can just send an email to info@lifecanada.org with your contact information. And so up to reach $25,000, and we are now up $10,000. Is that right, Nat? Or sorry,
I think so. I don't think it's as much as
$1,000. Sorry, no, it's 1,000. Sorry, I read that wrong.
That'd be nice.
So it's going in the right direction, and this is really encouraging. Thank you so much for your generosity, and thank you to all the major donors who will match your gift night only.
Thank you, Sarah. So just in case, I think your internet was a little bit in and out there. It's the, if you want a gift tonight, it's info@lifecanada.org. Just contact us, send us your info. And thanks, Sarah. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Dying Healed program. So the next slide, thank you. The Dying Healed program, many of you do know about. It was launched in 2017. We are now in over 30 communities across the country, and we have trained over 1,500 volunteers, 500 just this year. So it's been through the work of ourselves working. We've run some webinars, training people, training facilitators as well. And also we have some excellent volunteers around the country who are working with different dioceses, who are training hundreds of people using our Dying Healed program and getting people to feel confident in these end-of-life issues. Of course, as you know, Bill C7 has been through committee this past week, and it now moves on to the House for third reading. There's still time to, I think, write to members of the Senate who will be deciding on this bill, but it's very deeply concerning. It is expanding euthanasia in a way that I don't think has ever been done in any jurisdiction in the world. And the education on these issues right now couldn't be more important. So our Dying Healed program is just so critical, and your donation tonight helps us to advance this program across Canada. So we're going to just pass it on to Sarah. Do we have any comments, Sarah?
I don't see any right now, but we'll come back to that. Maybe it's my internet. Remember to leave comments in the YouTube live chat section to the right. Next, we want to share this incredible testimony that Life Canada featured last year in 2019 when they collaborated with several groups, including We Need a Law, to produce 50 of these testimonies and a full documentary of the impact of 50 years of abortion in Canada. This will be sure to move you deeply.
My name is Sarah Valaket-Thompson, and I am from Weshego, Ontario. And I was so blessed to get pregnant, and throughout the pregnancy I had decided that it was a good idea to do some prenatal screening. And so my husband and I made the choice, and we were actually in the second trimester at this time. And we went to the doctor, and we did the blood work for prenatal screening, and just to see if there was any sort of abnormalities that would, that would need to be taken care of. So we did that, and we got a call from my practitioner about a week and a half later, and we were told that we had a 1 in 250 chance of our child having trisomy 21. So naturally we had no idea what that meant for us. We were very afraid, and we had to go on to another round of prenatal screening. So it was about within a week we did another round of screening, and we were then told that there was a 98% chance that our child had trisomy 21. So in order to actually give an effective and 100% diagnosis, we had to do an amniocentesis. So now, being about 5 months pregnant, I'm feeling all the movements of my child. I'm feeling kicking. And so went down to Toronto and we did the amniocentesis. Through this time, we were exposed to a multitude of nurses and doctors and specialists. We had to do an echocardiogram to see if the heart was in good condition. So an array of different tests, an array of different specialists and doctors. And sadly, a lot of the doctors would question why we would want to pursue our pregnancy. I had an OB sit across the table from me. I'm sorry. I had an OB sit across the table, and we were there to meet with him to discuss our birth plan. And he looked at my husband and I, and he said, "Why are you keeping this child?" Going further, we continued to meet with doctors, and we did the amniocentesis. It came back 100% that our child had trisomy Down syndrome, trisomy 21 Down syndrome, and at that point it was also confirmed that we were having a baby boy. We had maybe so many doctors that we met with, just constantly questioning, why would we pursue this journey for our lives? And it would be a life of doom and gloom. It would be a life of constant medical appointments and worry and fear. And my husband and I remember one meeting that we were in, and a lady was telling us that it would be such a hard life for us if we wanted to continue with the pregnancy. And I could feel my son kicking me inside. And I said, "There's not a question in my mind. This is my baby, and we're bringing him into this world." It was so amazing because our son Harvey didn't actually end up needing a C-section. He surprised us. He came a week and a half early, and it was the most beautiful birth ever. And he's here now. He is strong, he's healthy, he's 16 months. He is the greatest gift to our family. He has taught our family to be in the moment. He has taught our family that no one or nothing is perfect, and that's okay. We have made our own perfect. He has taught us to love, to be kind, to give one another a chance. He has taught us to be gentle. He has taught us to be so blessed. And I think the real message here is that nobody is perfect, and we have to define what our own perfect is, and our family to us is 100% perfect, and for us that's all we need.
That was just an incredibly powerful story. And we're just so grateful that she shared that with us. It really is an issue today, the pressure that some women feel to abort. And she talks about making her own perfect with her child. It's also a reminder, I think, that some of these technologies really don't make life any easier for us sometimes. And we're experiencing, even little glitches tonight. But we're going to just, Sarah, how are we doing? I'm hearing that comments are coming in from all across Canada, which is very encouraging. And I think we're up a little bit. Any news, Sarah?
So we're up to $15,320. So thank you, everybody. And we do have comments. Would you like me to read a few?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, Marlon Bart, he says, great job on the gala, everyone. Nice to see so many talented people dedicated to ending the atrocity of abortion from the moment of conception. And we have Carol, who says, great to bring so many like-minded people together from coast to coast to coast and grow stronger. We also have Lisa Smith saying, so great to hear about all of Life Canada's great initiatives. Thanks to all of you for your hard work in the cause of life. So thank you for everyone who has given this evening. Your support is so gratefully accepted. Our thermometer is moving in the right direction. We are now, like I said, $15,320, and thank you so much. So if you want to jump on board with those donations this evening, go to www.lifecanadagala.ca. And don't forget that every dollar you donate this evening will be matched by our major sponsors so that you can double your givings to Life Canada. And Natalie, just tell us about the book again.
Sure. So this book, written by Stephanie Gray Connors, will be sent to anybody who gives a donation tonight of $100 or more. The book is Love Unleashes Life, Abortion and the Art of Communicating Truth. So I'm going to hold it right up so you can have a good look at it. There's Stephanie on the back there. And anybody who donates, and that's very kindly being donated through Life Cycle Books. So thank you. All right, so I'm going to continue a little bit with talking about the work of Life Canada. So one of our projects that we began in 2010 was this incredible award-winning Adoption in Canada.ca campaign. And this was to raise awareness about the issue of adoption, both for prospective parents, for birth parents as well, and for women in crisis. So we were really trying to make a bridge between the woman and the parents seeking to adopt. We've also, in the years since 2010, Anastasia Bowles, who is our Director of Operations, has worked hard on this particular project. And she's worked to help with an issue called where we've had Down syndrome adoption. A lot of times babies who are born with disabilities, the parents feel they can't cope, and we've actually assisted in connecting parents who feel that they can, that they're called to this incredible life of raising a child with special needs and connecting them with a family who has given birth. So we think of the story, the testimony we just saw, and how wonderful it is that there are people out there who are so welcoming and so loving towards children with special needs. So our Adoption in Canada campaign, we worked hard on this year. We have updated the campaign. So if you want to see the new website, adoptioncanada.ca, and we also put out one of our beautiful full-colored reflections magazines on this particular issue. So email us if you'd like to receive a copy, info@lifecanada.org, and we'll make sure you get the PDF copy of our beautiful magazine devoted specifically to adoption and looking at it from all its angles. So next up, I think, do we have any more comments, Sarah?
Yes, we have one from Cheryl Fotherby. Thank you for your passion and your strong leadership in the fight for the preborn and the vulnerable. And so many are so very quick to discard. Please, folks, donate to keep Life Canada strong. Thank you and God bless.
That's beautiful.
And another from Lisa. What a wonderful evening. So happy to have joined the gala.
Very nice. So tonight we actually have a little message from south of the border. This is one of my favorite people in the pro-life movement, Marjore Dannenfelser. I've followed her work over the years. She has built the organization Susan B. Anthony List up into quite a remarkable pro-life organization, and they were responsible just recently for electing 14 new women to the House of Representatives in the U.S. who are staunchly pro-life. So this is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And we had Marjore speak at our conference some years ago. She has got a message for us tonight, and we're just going to listen to that quickly.
I am honored to speak to you and share my gratitude for all you do out of love for unborn children and their mothers. As neighbors, we have a lot in common, sadly, as we fight to end abortion on demand throughout birth, taxpayer-funded abortion, and infanticide. Life Canada's role is critical. For 20 years, you have supplied the education and resources needed to win hearts and minds. When our fellow citizens understand how truly radical our laws are, they increasingly reject them. Every day, you prove this battle is winnable, and life is winning. In fact, that's the title of my book published before our election here in the United States, inspired by my friend, Vice President Mike Pence's constant refrain and the leadership of President Trump. And while our presidential contest is still playing out, it's true. Momentum is on our side. And as of today, we've more than doubled the number of pro-life women in our Congress and preserved our majorities in every single contested state legislature. It's a powerful testament to what is possible when we fully engage. And the more we partner together and learn from one another, the stronger we are. I'm so encouraged about the future of Canada's pro-life movement. You're smart, strategic, youthful, passionate, and articulate about human rights. Your pro-life educational and political components complement each other and are both necessary to prevail. Again, thank you, Life Canada, and I urge everyone to please contribute toward your vital mission. You've built this beautiful machine for life, but it must have the fuel to run. Please give generously. Because of you, victory is closer than ever before. Persevere at this crucial moment, and we will see the end of abortion in our lifetimes. I believe that. Next time, let's do this in person. Until then, God bless you, and God bless Canada.
Hi, everybody. Tonight, thanks to Marjore, we'll be giving away a free copy of her book, Life is Winning. Marjore spoke at Life Canada's national conference in 2012. Her book, Life is Winning, details the story of how the pro-life cause went to an orphaned political problem to a winning issue in lobbying powerhouse. So the winner is Veronica Hermany. Congratulations. You can email us at info@lifecanada.org to receive your gift. And now we have one last testimony from the Missing Project. Again, this is a very touching segment, and I want you to think about this testimony when you hear tonight's keynote speaker coming up.
I was born in Ghana, and my father was a businessman. My mother was a seamstress, and they already had my older brother at the time, who was 8 years old. But while my mom was pregnant with me, my father made it known that he did not want my mom to give birth to me. So he disappeared. He left. My mother tried to get him back to keep the marriage, but he didn't want that. So my mom could have had an abortion, but she chose to give birth to me and to raise myself and my older brother as a single mother. Being a single mom is hard anywhere, but it's especially difficult in Africa. But she was willing to make her life difficult so that she would allow me to live. And I recognize that by being born, I made my mom's life hard, but I know that she does not regret giving birth to me. In Ghana, there's no such thing as government assistance. You just make it out on your own with family help. But everyone else is struggling to make ends meet themselves. So my mom had to work 2 jobs, and she sometimes had to leave me alone when I was 2 years old in the middle of the night so she could work. But the reality is that you could always overcome an obstacle, and my mom was able to do that. Then we moved to Canada when I am 10 years old, and about 7 or 8 years later, I have a very good friend of mine, and we would oftentimes call each other at night, and we would just talk about life and ask each other, several random questions. And one night she called me and she just randomly asked me, at least I thought it was a random question, what would you say to a girl considering an abortion? I thought it was simply a hypothetical question, so I didn't know what to say. I just said, I don't know. About a year after that, we're at church, and then she's called up to share a testimony. And she goes up and she says that she had an abortion a year ago. And immediately, I placed my face in my hands, and I thought, wait a minute, when she asked me about that question, was she referring to herself? So then afterward, I talked to her, and she tells me that a few days after after that conversation, she went to an abortion clinic and had an abortion. That baby would have been 15 years old today. From that time on, I struggled with, what I said or what I didn't say. And that is why I am now committed to pro-life outreach. Because I realized that if I had done my research, if I had said anything to her, if I had said she had life in her womb, if I had said that she has a child, and if I had remembered my mom's story and I had told her that my mom didn't, get an abortion when I was in her womb, that she could have enjoyed life with her baby as much as my mom enjoys life with me today. No one considers an abortion unless they feel that they have to. The truth is, no one needs to have an abortion. Women can have the support they need. There are several organizations that are willing to help out if they would seek out that help. And it's important to recognize that we can't punish that baby for a difficult life, and the abortion will not bring any happiness. The friend of mine who got the abortion, she regrets it to this day. She wishes she could go back and not walk into the abortion clinic.
Hi, everyone. So thanks for that very moving testimony. And I think it highlights the importance of us being well-formed and being able to step up, and the importance of just a moment, how that could actually save somebody's life. So very wonderful to hear these testimonies. And we were so fortunate to be able to gather all of those testimonies for the Missing Project, which we did last year to commemorate 50 years of abortion in Canada, the tragedy of that. Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you George Glover. George Glover is the CEO and founder of GM&F Partners, and they have been working alongside LifeCanada now for several months, and they've been working to bring us this gala tonight. So they've really helped us out tremendously. They are supporters of LifeCanada and our strategic advisors. George Glover has a long history of working in the nonprofit world. He was CEO himself of a national association and has a wealth of experience. And I get to turn it over to you, George. I like the bow tie.
Well, thanks, Natalie. Well, thank you for the very warm introduction, and good evening, everybody. We want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us tonight in support of LifeCanada and such a worthy cause. And, we want to challenge you tonight to get involved and not only help us reach our goal. I think we're at $17,000 right now. Shout out to every sponsor and everybody that's given a gift tonight, large or small. You're going to help change lives through the work of LifeCanada and the groups across Canada. But there's two ways you can get involved tonight, and that is by giving a one-time donation to help us reach our goal of $25,000, which will be matched dollar for dollar. Tonight and through the next 7 days, thanks to the generosity of some major donors. That means if you give $50, it'll become $100. And if you give $250, it'll become $500, and so on and so forth. So pick up the phone tonight, give us a call on our toll-free number, or go to our website and make a donation, knowing that you're going to help change a life. And the other way we want to challenge you tonight is to join LifeCanada as a monthly partner. For $25, $35, or $50 a month, you can help make a difference in lives through the work of LifeCanada all across this nation and support this wonderful work year-round. So there's the numbers on the screen right now. Give us a call. There's somebody there to take your call and information, credit card, 1-866-780-5433, extension 2, or go to the website at lifecanadagala.ca. And of course, the third way is that this week, if you received a registration kit in the mail, when you registered, we sent you a little form in the mail, and you can fill that out and mail it in to us with a check or a credit card number, and we'll make sure that you get a wonderful thank you letter as a result of investing in the work of LifeCanada. So thank you for joining us tonight, and God bless you as you give to help support the work of LifeCanada. Over to you, Natalie.
Thanks so much, George. And I think we want Sarah to... we've got our guest speaker coming up. Everyone's been waiting to hear Stephanie Gray Connors. And go ahead, Sarah.
Okay, how about that video from Rhythmfoot that was coming up? Is that coming up now,
great.
Or we're waiting on that?
Yes, it is. Yes. So while
Okay.
everyone is considering your gift to LifeCanada this evening, we have one last video from Rhythmfoot, that incredibly talented family of youngsters. I know I have a youngster who's in piano lessons, and when I watch these little ones, it's quite breathtaking to see what they can do. So we'll do that video. So while we're listening to that, you can fill out your gift cards or donate to LifeCanada, and then we'll come back again.
Hello, everybody. We have our final WestJet gift card coming up and book giveaway coming up after we hear a presentation from our keynote speaker. Remember to comment in the live chat in order to be entered. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce to you Stephanie Gray Connors. Stephanie is a seasoned and international speaker who began presenting at the age of 18. She has given almost 1,000 pro-life presentations across North America, as well as in Europe and Latin America. She has spoken at post-secondary institutions such as Berkeley, George Washington University, and Yale. In 2017, Stephanie was a presenter for a series Talks at Google, speaking on abortion at Google headquarters. Stephanie has debated physicians who do abortions, including abortionist Dr. Fraser Fellows and Dr. Malcolm Potts, who was the first medical director for International Planned Parenthood. Stephanie's audiences are vast, including medical students, law students, churches of various denominations, seminaries, high schools, and pro-life groups. Stephanie is the author of Love Unleashes Life, Abortion and the Art of Communicating Truth. This is the book that we're giving away to anyone who donates $100 or more tonight. Welcome, Stephanie.
Well, hello, everyone. It is great to be a part of Life Canada's gala, and unfortunately we cannot be in person, but I'm grateful that you have tuned in to support this wonderful pro-life organization, and I'm grateful to have the opportunity to share some words with you this evening. I recently gave a talk online to a group of American pro-life people, and one of the people said to me, what message of hope do you have for us? Because looking at the political scene, looking at the nature of the public's reaction to the pro-life message in general, it can feel overwhelming. It can feel like we're not making a difference. And when she said that, a couple things came to mind. One of the things that comes to mind is actually a movie that my husband and I watched maybe about a month or so ago that a friend had recommended to us. I recommend it to you. It's a powerful but tough film to watch called Mr. Jones. And it's based on the true story of a journalist by the name of Gareth Jones, who had traveled into the Soviet Union in the early 1930s. And he managed to go where foreigners were typically kept from seeing. He made it into the Ukraine, and he saw the brutal reality of what Stalin was doing to the Ukrainians, which ultimately became known as the Great Famine, the Ukrainian famine, the loss of millions of lives through Holodomor. And when he saw people starving to death, when he witnessed children that no longer had parents because of the starvation, and the only way they could feed themselves was to cook up body parts from a previously deceased sibling and eat it, he was horrified. And as a journalist, he knew he had a great responsibility with that knowledge to share it with the world. And so he ended up writing about all that he had seen in the Ukraine. And the mainstream media marginalized him. They scorned him. And he went through this profound period of deep pain and deep frustration, because not only had he been a witness to injustice, but when he tried to let others know what was happening, his viewpoint and perspective and facts were entirely disregarded. And in a sense, that's how that pro-life woman felt, saying to me, look, like, we as pro-lifers know what is true, and we're trying to tell the culture, and we're trying to change the law. And so often our message is not received. And so as we take that into account, one of the things that strikes me about Mr. Jones's story is that in his journalistic work, actually, he ended up being killed on an assignment shortly before his 30th birthday. Now today, decades later, really if we think about it, almost 100 years later, he is celebrated as a hero in the Ukraine. He is, he has movies about him, but he didn't know that in his lifetime. And so I think the lesson maybe we can take from his experience in that woman's question is that we have a great duty to share the truth, knowing that we might not always see the fruits of our labors, but if we align ourselves with that which is true, good, and beautiful, then we have to trust that the fruits will be made known one day and will benefit a future generation. It also makes me think of an experience that the Irish pro-lifers had just a couple of years ago. In 2018, Ireland had a referendum to legalize abortion. And I have several friends who work in the pro-life movement in the Emerald Isle, and they worked so hard to try to convince their fellow Irish citizens to vote in favor of pro-life. And even some North American pro-lifers went over and partnered with them. There was so much prayer, there was so much fasting, there was so many efforts to educate the populace, and yet when it came time for the referendum, the majority of people voted to legalize abortion. And I remember the pro-life movement in general, but particularly in Ireland, was like, what? Like, we did everything. How could this have happened? And yet again, when we look to that, I think we need to realize our duty is to align ourselves with truth and control that which we can control, which is our response to the injustice, our handling of the truth. We can't control other people's responses. We can certainly, as we should, try to be as effective as possible in changing people's minds, but at the end of the day, we have to leave the results up to God. And so all of this brings me to the scriptures, because I think there's an important lesson we can draw from it. The theme for my presentation tonight is speaking up for life. And really, that's what I want our takeaway to be, that when we feel overwhelmed, when we feel we're not making a difference, when we see things happening that go in direct contradiction to what we are standing for, we still need to speak up for life. And we need to trust that the seeds that we sow will eventually bear fruit, whether we see them in our lifetime or not. If we go to the scriptures, there's a very famous parable, the story of the Good Samaritan. And as I reflect on that story, I think about how you've got this man walking down the road to Jericho. And in the story, some robbers come upon him. And when that gang of thugs essentially encounter the man walking down the road, they choose to hurt him. Then the story talks about religious leaders of the day, a Pharisee and, a priest and a Levite. The priest and the Levite walk down the road. They also encounter the man. What do? They ignore him. Then the Samaritan comes down the road, and when he sees the robbed victim, he helps him. And so whenever an injustice occurs, I think we need to take ourselves back to that scripture story and remember, okay, I really have three options. I can harm my fellow man, I can ignore my fellow man, or I can help my fellow man. Now, we obviously know the first two options are not ethical options, which means the only option ethically available to us is to help. Again, whether we see the results in the moment or not, our responsibility is to help. If you think about it, we actually don't know the outcome of how that the story and the healing of the robbed victim. We know he was taken to an inn. We know that the Good Samaritan cared for him that night. And we know that he was willing to cover the need for any future care required, that he was going to come back and compensate. But we actually don't know if that was needed. We don't know if the man lived a good long life or not. But what we do know is that the Samaritan did something that we are all called to do, that he helped, which was in exact opposite or direct contradiction to what the other two parties had done. We may not hurt our fellow man. We may not ignore our fellow man. We must help our fellow man. And, when we speak up for life, we may still find ourselves facing various battles in the meantime, but we know that ultimately in the war, the truth wins. And we do get little glimpses of the power of truth and that lives can be saved and minds can be changed. And so it's important not to just look at where we experience failure, where we see overwhelm and say, gosh, this hill is too steep. But we also want to look at where there's hope and where there's proof that people will be transformed by the truth. I think, for example, of a friend of mine many, many years ago now told me that when she had gotten pregnant out of wedlock, she was so overwhelmed that even though she'd been raised pro-life, she actually thought about abortion. And she told me that she was driving one day and she came up to a red light, and when she, stopped her car at the red light, there was a car in front of her, and that car in front of her had a bumper sticker on it. And it was a sticker with a quote by Mother Teresa that said, "It's a poverty to decide, a child must die so that you may live as you wish." And that was it. That changed my friend's mind. And several months later, she gave birth to a baby boy who I think now is about 20 years old. Now, the drivers of that van have no idea that their declaration of their pro-life perspective saved a life. But I know, and that gives me encouragement to keep speaking up for life. And now you know, and so I hope that gives you encouragement to keep speaking up for life. I think of another story. There was a man that was participating in 40 Days for Life, and it was a really cold day, and he was outside an abortion clinic. He saw a couple walking in. He was like, "Dear Lord, what do I say?" And the only thing he could think of was to call out to them, "God bless you two." And the moment he said that, he realized, wait, that's inaccurate. They're pregnant. They're about to have an abortion. So he corrected himself. He said, God bless you three. And the couple walked into the clinic. But there was power to what he'd said. Because once they got in, they started to talk about his correction to God bless you three from God bless you two. They ended up walking out of the clinic and told him that they decided not to have the abortion. Or I think of a pregnancy care center I'd recently been involved in speaking at one of their events, and they told a powerful story of one of their volunteers who had been praying outside an abortion clinic, and she saw a taxi pull up, and a young teenage girl got out and went into the clinic. And the taxi driver remained parked, so she thought to herself, oh, he must, the girl must have arranged for the driver to just stay so she could have a ride after the procedure. So this pro-life woman walked up to the taxi driver and started talking to him and gave him information about abortion and pleaded with him to go into the clinic and try to talk to the girl. Well, the taxi driver did that. And the teenage girl changed her mind. And several months later, she gave birth to a baby girl, and she loves being a mom, and she has so much support around her. And so these are the stories that I think are important for us to hang on to. Kind of the last point that I want to make is to reference another film that I recommend. It's actually, I think it's about a 7-part series called For the Life of the World, produced by the Acton Institute. Really incredible series of documentary films that really help Christians think about what it means to be in the world but not of the world, and what leads to human flourishing. And at one point, one of the main educators within the documentary speaks about the prophet Jeremiah, particularly in Jeremiah 29. And he talks about how Jeremiah was speaking to the children of Israel and giving them final instructions for Israel and the promise of restoration that they would get, but before the Babylonians would come to take them into captivity. And so here you have a group of people that are going to become captives. And then he talks about how Jeremiah bought land and buried the deed. And he said Jeremiah knew he would not be the one to return and dig up the deed. That he would not be the one to return to reclaim the land, but his burying of the deed, his buying of the land was his act of faith that eventually the people would return. And so he says in this series, For the Life of the World, that what Jeremiah is asking of the Israelites in their captivity, to have hope that they would come out of that, is what's being asked of us today. Are we willing to do the hard work for something we may not see? Are we willing to do the hard work for something we may not see? That's what Mr. Jones did. He saw injustice and he spoke out, and he was persecuted for it. He's celebrated today, but he's not on this earth to know that the way we know that. But he was willing to do the hard work for something he may not see. In Jeremiah 29:7, he says, promote the welfare of the city to which I have exiled you. Pray for it to the Lord, for upon its welfare depends your own. That's pretty bold. So not only are the people to promote the welfare of the city to which I've exiled you, but its welfare and your welfare are tied together. And so that would be my message of encouragement in our call to speak up for life, is that where we have been placed, in the time we're in, with the people that we know, we need to promote the welfare of where we are, to not allow ourselves to be overwhelmed by various losses and failures that might seem to happen, but instead to hold on to hope of the good fruits of the lives that are saved, the minds that are transformed, and have hope that if we reject hurting our neighbor, if we reject ignoring our neighbor, and instead we embrace helping our neighbor, and we do the hard work that we may not see the end results, but we are being faithful to our duty, leaving it in the hands of God, and our working towards helping the other is our act of faith, that we know goodness always wins. And so I want to kind of wrap all this up with a quote that I was sent many years ago, almost a type of prayer called Prophets of a Future Not Our Own, which I think is really fitting to all that I've said and the great need to speak up. And it goes like this: it helps now and then to step back and take the long view. The kingdom is not only beyond our efforts, it is beyond our vision. We accomplish in our lifetime only a tiny fraction of the magnificent enterprise that is God's work. Nothing we do is complete, which is another way of saying the kingdom always lies beyond us. This is what we are about. We plant seeds that one day will grow. We water seeds already planted, knowing they hold future promise. We lay foundations that need further development. We provide yeast that produces effects beyond our capabilities. We cannot do everything. And there is a sense of liberation in realizing that. This enables us to do something and to do it very well. It may be incomplete, but it is a beginning, a step along the way, an opportunity for God's grace to enter and do the rest. We may never see the end results, but that is the difference between the master builder and the worker. We are workers, not master builders. We are ministers, not messiahs. We are prophets of a future, not our own. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Wow, what a beautiful message from Stephanie. We're so lucky to have her incredible inspiration. So we are actually, when in the pro-life movement, we do have this thing that we deal with all the time. Are we willing to do the hard work for something that we might not see? And I think that's just such an important message, that we must have hope, even if we cannot see the fruits of our labors today. So I want to thank Stephanie, and I also want to thank Rhythmfoot. They did a great job for us. We're so happy that they were able to contribute to tonight's gala. And I want to give you a quick update. I think we've reached almost to our goal. We're over $18,000 now. So thank you so much for your generosity, everybody watching us tonight. Yay! So that's very, very encouraging for our work, really. And thank you to everyone who's donated this evening. And I'm going to turn it over to Sarah to do some giveaways.
Okay, our final WestJet giveaway goes to Greg Egan. Congratulations. You have won a Fly Anywhere in Canada WestJet gift card valued at $250. Just put in your contact information to info@lifecanada.org to receive your gift. And our final book giveaway goes this evening to Rosie. We hope that you enjoy this insightful book or work by Life Canada's own co-founder and past president. And don't forget to email us to receive your gift. And anyone who has donated $100 tonight receives a free book of Stephanie's called Love Unleashes Life. And lastly, we want to once again thank you, our very generous supporters and sponsors, and to all who have given generously tonight. Life Canada continues to be such an important pro-life presence across Canada, supporting our member organizations with programs and training, ensuring that all of our supporters are able to fully participate in this struggle to save lives, whether it's through being with the vulnerable, elderly, and dying, reaching out to legislators on major issues, educating our youth, or helping women and families in crisis. Thank you again for your support.
Thank you, Sarah. It's been great working with you tonight. Thank you again to all our major sponsors, to GM&F Partners, and to Sunstone Realty Advisors, to our member groups who sponsored tonight's event, and to all our member groups who work with us through thick and thin, spreading the message of life within their communities, their provinces, and then helping us to spread the message of life right across Canada. Thanks for being with us tonight. Thank you for your support. And we're so encouraged to be able to continue our important work. If you want to donate to help us get over our $25,000 mark, we're almost there. We are at $18,740. So this is just wonderful. Call us at the number below, or go to LifeCanadaGala.ca. Thank you again. Thank you and good night.